I once wrote a limerick about the power of words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can do even better. There's a power that's more than the weapons of war. It's a sword without its first letter. Yes, words have a terribly powerful effect. And this Shabbat we talk about the adverse effect of Lashon Hara, of slander, when people talk negatively about one another, how many terrible effects that could have. And the story is told of the Baal Shem Tov, who lived in the town of Mezibuj in the 18th century. And there were two individuals having a terrible fight, and one of them called out to the other, "I will rip you apart like a fish." The Baal Shem Tov heard these words, and he summoned his students to sit in a circle. Each one put their hand on the next. And suddenly they all began to scream as they all had the vision and the actual visual effects of seeing this individual being dismembered and pulled apart like a fish. The Baal Shem Tov was telling us that words have an effect. And on a simple level, words have an effect because when we allow negative words and slander and hate speech to take place, eventually it results, God forbid, in a society that is filled with violence. South Africa recently won a milestone, all-important court case in the Constitutional Court that related to anti-Semitism being repeated against the Jewish people. And the fact that we won this case cauterized and begins to stop the process of allowing people to say anything they want negatively about the next individual. Hate speech can bring to violence, and that's why society does not allow hate speech to take place. But what the Baal Shem Tov is telling us is that even beyond the fact that speech can bring to actions that might be terrible, the consequences of what actions might happen, the speech itself, the words itself can be so terribly harmful to another individual. We are spiritual people, we have souls, we have feelings, we have sensitivities. And words that are uttered, God forbid negatively, between a husband and wife, between parents and children, between a teacher and a child in the classroom, words that are said that are sarcastic and cutting can cause wounds and scars for a lifetime. Words matter. We have to choose and be careful with the words that we use. In Tehillim, the psalmist tells us that words are like arrows, much worse than a sword. Because a sword you hold in your hand and you can decide at the last minute, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to inflict pain. I'm not going to cause harm. You're still holding it in your hand. But an arrow, once you shoot the arrow, it's flying. You no longer can retrieve it. It is beyond, it is gone out of your domain. You can no longer control what its effects are going to be. And such it is with words. It's not like a sword in your hand. It's like an arrow that has left your hand. Now it's going to inflict the pain and cause the results. You are no longer able to retrieve it. The psalmist also compares words to glowing coal, embers, because glowing coal can sometimes eventually burn itself out, and you look at it and it looks as though it is just ash. But deep inside, something is still burning. The effects of words are long after we think that everything is resolved. The pain inflicted with negative words can continue to burn in somebody else's heart, in somebody else's feelings and sensitivities. So the Torah tells us Lashon Hara is one of the most terrible crimes. Words cause harm. Words cause individuals to self-doubt, to think that they don't really have a value. It causes people to become depressed. And negative talk creates such negativity even in the realm of the verbal use. Just the words themselves can cause so much damage and so much harm. So this Shabbat, let's think about the power of words, and significantly the importance of positive words. Because when we speak up, when we speak positively, when we tell another individual, these are your special qualities, compliment somebody, express gratitude to somebody, talk about somebody's talents and abilities, what happens is that they emerge. We begin to elicit those talents to be used when we talk with strength to somebody else about their strengths, about their positive influence, and all the wonderful things that we can say about another individual. We bring out the best in each other. So let's think about the power of words, the power of negative words, the consequences of them, and how important it is to talk with positivity, to bring strength to whatever situation one is in, by saying words that are comforting, that are uplifting, that remind individuals that there is something worthwhile to look forward to. May our words always bring us closer to one another and a world closer to its redemption. Have a beautiful Shabbos.